Mike Lawson stood near the corner of the Air Force Base gym, wiping sweat from his brow as the clatter of weights and the hum of grunts filled the air. His fat frame, as some of the younger airmen mockingly called it, was unmistakable. His broad shoulders and sturdy build made him look more like a linebacker than an elite Air Force Pararescue Specialist. Yet, beneath that seemingly unassuming exterior was a man whose experience and resilience had been forged through years of grueling training and real-world missions. Still, the whispers and jabs came fast and frequent. "You sure you're in the right place, Lawson? This isn't the buffet line," one of the younger airmen jeered as he passed by, smirking and shaking his head. The gym echoed with laughter, but Mike kept his eyes fixed on the training station ahead, where a series of physical and tactical challenges awaited. Mike's reputation wasn't built on appearances. For many, his stocky build was the first reason to doubt his capabilities. But those who truly knew him understood that his strength wasn't measured by how lean he was but how much heart and skill he brought to every mission. Today, however, the skepticism was louder than ever. The gym was a crucible, and Mike was about to face a series of challenges designed not just to test his physical endurance but to challenge the doubts cast by his size. Sergeant Davis, a lean and rigid figure who took pride in his own athleticism, stood nearby, arms crossed and brow furrowed. Davis had been one of Mike's harshest critics, openly questioning his ability to keep pace during training exercises. "Pararescue isn't just about brute strength," Mike had said once, "it's about resilience, adaptability, and tactical precision." Davis had scoffed then, but today, he was watching closely, silently betting against Mike. The first test was a timed obstacle course, designed to simulate the chaotic environments pararescue specialists often face. Crawling under barbed wire, scaling walls, and maneuvering through narrow passages, every movement required agility and strength. Mike took a deep breath and launched into the course, his heavy frame moving with surprising speed and efficiency. Where others might rely on raw muscle, Mike used calculated foot placement and momentum, conserving energy for the tougher segments ahead. As he reached the climbing wall, his arms burned, but years of training kicked in. He gripped the holds with a firm yet controlled strength, pulling himself upward. The younger airmen, watching from the sidelines, exchanged doubtful glances. "He's slower than most," one muttered, arms folded. But Mike's eyes remained focused, unwavering. Landing on the other side, Mike sprinted toward the final segment, a tactical marksmanship simulation. The transition was immediate. The physical exertion was replaced by mental acuity as he took position behind cover, scanning for targets projected on the screen. Pulse steady, breath controlled, Mike engaged target after target with precise shots. His hands didn't tremble, his mind remained sharp despite the fatigue. Sergeant Davis's expression shifted. The skepticism in his eyes softened slightly as he nodded in approval. "Not bad, Lawson," he muttered under his breath, more to himself than anyone else. The next challenge was a rescue simulation, the core of what pararescue specialists trained for. Mike had to locate a wounded teammate trapped in a smoke-filled environment and carry them to safety. It was a test of both physical strength and tactical judgment. The smoke was thick, visibility near zero. Mike relied on his other senses, moving deliberately, listening for sounds, trusting his instincts. When he found the dummy meant to represent the injured airman, Mike hoisted it onto his shoulders. The weight was substantial, but he adjusted his grip and began the trek back through the obstacle course. Every step was deliberate, balancing speed with caution to avoid stumbling. Sweat poured down his face, but his resolve never wavered. As he crossed the finish line, gasping but triumphant, the younger airman's chatter quieted. Even Sergeant Davis approached, extending a hand. "You've got grit, Lawson. Didn't think you had it in you." Mike shook the hand firmly, nodding in acknowledgement. "Size doesn't tell the whole story," he said quietly, catching his breath. Behind the scenes, Jenna and Lopez, fellow pararescue specialists, watched with quiet admiration. Jenna, known for her sharp tactical mind, whispered to Lopez, "He's more than just muscle. He's got strategy and heart." Lopez nodded, his respect evident. The day's events weren't just about physical tests. They were a microcosm of the daily battle Mike faced, overcoming prejudice and doubt from those who saw only his exterior. His fat frame was a camouflage, a way to lower expectations so he could surprise when it mattered most. Later, as the gym emptied and the sun dipped low over the base, Mike stood alone near the shooting range. He loaded his rifle carefully, methodically practicing his aim. The quiet was a stark contrast to the earlier chaos but no less intense. Each shot was a reminder that precision and calm under pressure were just as vital as raw strength. Sergeant Davis approached again, this time more open. "You ever think about why you keep pushing, Lawson? When the gym's clear, and no one's watching?" Mike looked up, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Because this isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving to myself that I'm ready for whatever comes next." Davis nodded slowly. "Well, you're making it hard to doubt you anymore." The dynamic between them was shifting. Mike's quiet confidence was beginning to chip away at the skepticism not just of Davis but of many others around the base. His experience and steady resolve were hard to ignore. But Mike knew the real test lay ahead, not just in the gym or training exercises, but in the missions where lives depended on every decision. Today was a step, a proving ground where he could show that strength wasn't one-dimensional. He was ready to carry that truth forward, to challenge assumptions and redefine what it meant to be a pararescue specialist. As night fell and the base grew still, Mike packed up his gear, his mind already racing through scenarios and strategies. The doubts cast by size were just noise now, background static to the focus and determination that defined him. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new chances to prove that beneath the unassuming exterior lay a specialist prepared to face anything. And Mike Lawson, with every step and shot, was ready to show them all. The morning sun filtered through the blinds of the Air Force Pararescue training facility, casting long shadows across the gym floor where Mike Lawson was already deep into his routine. The hum of activity was steady, airmen pushing their limits, instructors barking orders, but Mike's focus was singular. Today's regimen was more demanding, crafted to test endurance, strength, and tactical acumen in equal measure. It was the kind of training that separated the good from the exceptional. Mike's stocky frame moved with precise control as he transitioned from one drill to the next. Unlike many of his peers, who relied on sheer speed or raw power, Mike's approach was methodical. Every movement, every breath, was calculated. He compensated for what some still perceived as a disadvantage in his physique with superior technique and adaptability. It wasn't about being the fastest or the strongest in the gym, it was about being the most effective under pressure. Jenna, a lean and sharp-eyed pararescue specialist, watched him from across the room. She admired his quiet determination and the way he seemed to anticipate challenges before they arose. "You're not just lifting weights, Mike," she said during a brief water break, "you're training smart. That's what keeps you ahead." Lopez, another team member known for his tactical expertise, nodded in agreement. It's easy to overlook that when you're focused on numbers, speed, reps, but it's the mental game that wins missions. Mike glanced at them, acknowledging their support with a nod. Their encouragement was a solid anchor in an environment where skepticism still lingered. Even Sergeant Davis, whose doubtful gaze had once pierced him, was beginning to see something different. The transformation wasn't just physical, it was a shift in respect. The day's core challenge was a simulation designed to mimic the unpredictable conditions of a real rescue mission. It began with an endurance run through rugged terrain, followed by a complex extraction scenario requiring both physical strength and tactical decision-making. Mike's lungs burned as he powered through the uneven ground, his body heavier than some of his peers but moving with a surprising grace. As the group reached the extraction zone, the simulation intensified. Mike was tasked with locating a wounded teammate hidden behind cover under hostile conditions. The exercise demanded more than muscle, it required calm under fire and sharp situational awareness. Mike's years of experience shone through as he scanned the environment, using subtle movements to avoid detection and communicate silently with the team. When he found the dummy representing the injured airman, Mike's grip was firm but careful. Carrying the weight through the simulated battlefield was grueling, but he adjusted his posture, leveraging his core strength to maintain balance. Sweat drenched his face, and every muscle screamed, yet his resolve was unwavering. Back at the base, Jenna and Lopez regrouped with Mike, their faces reflecting a mix of exhaustion and respect. "You handled that extraction like someone twice your size," Lopez said, clapping Mike on the shoulder. "Technique and adaptability win the day." Sergeant Davis approached as well, his demeanor more measured than before. "You're proving there's more to this job than meets the eye, Lawson. Your mental toughness is what's pushing you through." Mike appreciated the recognition but remained grounded. "It's about staying focused and thinking ahead. Size helps, sure, but it's not everything." The story of Mike's journey wasn't just about the physical toll, it was about the psychological challenges that came with being underestimated. The doubts cast by his appearance were persistent, but he learned to channel them into fuel for his performance. Each skeptical glance became motivation to refine his skill set and outthink the competition. Later that afternoon, Mike joined a tactical briefing led by Captain Reynolds. The discussion centered on an upcoming real-world rescue mission, a high-risk operation that would test the entire team's cohesion and readiness. The gravity of the situation was palpable. This mission wasn't just a training exercise, it was a true test of their capabilities under extreme pressure. Mike listened attentively, absorbing every detail. His mind raced through possible scenarios, contingencies, and tactics. The mission would require endurance, strategic thinking, and flawless execution. It was precisely the kind of challenge where his unique strengths could shine. After the briefing, Jenna pulled Mike aside. "You've earned your spot on this mission," she said firmly. "Your preparation and mindset make you essential to the team." Lopez chimed in, "We've seen how you adapt and lead. This isn't just about physical strength anymore, it's about who can think clearly when it counts." The weight of their words settled heavily on Mike, but it was a welcome burden. He wasn't there to prove anything to doubters anymore, he was there to save lives. In the quiet moments before nightfall, Mike sat alone in the gym, reviewing maps and mission objectives. His body ached from the day's exertions, but his mind was sharp. He visualized the terrain, the extraction points, and potential threats. This mental rehearsal was as critical as any physical drill. Sergeant Davis entered quietly, observing Mike's focus. "You've come a long way, Lawson," he said quietly. "I'm starting to see that size isn't the story here. It's the heart and the mind." Mike looked up, a flicker of gratitude in his eyes. "It's been a long road. But I'm ready for what's next." The camaraderie among the team had grown stronger, forged through shared challenges and mutual respect. Mike's perseverance was no longer an anomaly, it was an integral part of their collective strength. As the base lights dimmed and the night settled in, Mike prepared for the mission looming ahead. He packed his gear meticulously, every piece a vital tool in the complex tapestry of rescue operations. His stocky frame, once a subject of ridicule, was now a symbol of resilience and tactical brilliance. Tomorrow's mission would push them all to their limits, but Mike Lawson was ready. Not because of his size, but because of his unyielding spirit and unshakable belief that true strength came in many forms. The night was thick with tension as Mike Lawson and his team prepared for the rescue operation, a mission that would test every ounce of their training, skill, and resilience. The low hum of helicopters overhead was a constant reminder that this was no exercise. Lives hung in the balance, and the stakes had never been higher. Mike's stocky frame was silhouetted against the dim glow of equipment lights, his steady breath betraying none of the adrenaline coursing through his veins. The objective was clear: extract hostages trapped deep within a hostile zone, navigating treacherous terrain and unpredictable threats. The team moved with practiced precision, each member relying on the other to cover blind spots and anticipate danger. Mike's role was critical, his experience and steadiness made him the anchor in the chaos. As they approached the extraction point, the air was thick with uncertainty. The terrain was unforgiving, littered with debris and narrow pathways that demanded careful navigation. Mike's mind was razor-sharp, calculating every move, every potential risk. His fat frame, that once drew doubts from peers, now proved an asset, providing strength and stability in moments that required brute force and calm endurance. The first sign of trouble came swiftly. An unexpected patrol intercepted their path, forcing the team into a high-stakes engagement. Mike's training and tactical acumen took over instantly. He ordered suppressive fire with calm authority, coordinating with Jenna and Lopez to flank the enemy. His precise commands and quick thinking turned a potentially disastrous encounter into a controlled exchange, allowing the team to press forward. In the heart of the hostile zone, Mike spotted the trapped hostages, their faces etched with fear but alive. Time was critical. With a sense of urgency, he assessed the safest route back, factoring in cover, obstacles, and enemy positions. Carrying the weight of one wounded hostage on his shoulders, Mike navigated with deliberate strength and unwavering focus. His every step was a testament to years of discipline and determination. The return journey was a gauntlet of challenges. Explosions echoed in the distance, and hostile fire rained down sporadically, testing the team's cohesion and resolve. Mike's leadership was undeniable, his voice steady as he coordinated the team's movements, ensuring no one was left behind. His physical endurance, often underestimated because of his size, was pivotal in sustaining the momentum needed to reach safety. As they crossed into friendly territory, relief washed over the team. The mission was a success, lives saved through a combination of skill, teamwork, and sheer willpower. Mike's peers, once skeptical, now looked at him with a newfound respect that transcended words. Sergeant Davis approached, his expression one of genuine admiration. "You led us through hell and back, Lawson." No doubts left. Jenna and Lopez exchanged glances, their pride in Mike evident. "You showed us all what it means to be a pararescue specialist," Jenna said quietly. "It's not about size, it's about heart." In the aftermath, the debriefing room buzzed with analysis and praise. Mike sat quietly, absorbing the feedback but reflecting on the journey that had led him here. The doubts cast by his fat frame were now a distant memory, replaced by the undeniable proof of his value on the team. He had demonstrated that strength and heroism were not confined to appearances but were forged through resilience, skill, and an unbreakable spirit. Days later, Mike found himself mentoring a group of new recruits. His approach was patient and encouraging, emphasizing that success in pararescue was not measured by physical metrics alone. He shared his story, how perseverance and self-belief had carried him through challenges, and instilled in them the confidence to overcome their own doubts. "Size doesn't define you," he told them firmly. "Skill, heart, and determination do. You have to believe in yourself when others don't." The recruits listened intently, absorbing the lesson that had been hard-won through experience. Mike's journey had become a beacon, illuminating the path for those who might feel underestimated or overlooked. As he watched the new generation prepare for their own trials, Mike felt a quiet satisfaction. He had not only proven himself but had also helped dismantle the stereotypes that once threatened to hold him back. His story was a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of breaking down biases to uncover true capability. In the quiet moments between training sessions, Mike reflected on the road ahead. The challenges would continue, but so would his commitment to excellence and leadership. He was no longer just the stocky guy in the gym, he was a symbol of what it meant to rise above expectations and redefine strength on one's own terms. And with that, Mike Lawson stood ready, not just as a pararescue specialist, but as a mentor, a leader, and a living example that heroism comes in many forms. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.